Insurance is an emotional purchase. Your customers may not realize it at first, but they figure it out somewhere along the way that if they make the wrong decision now, it could have terrible consequences either for themselves personally or for their business somewhere down the road. And so, for you as a salesperson to communicate what they need to hear, you need to understand how they process information. What I'm going to do in this video is break down the 4 different personality types, how they receive information, so you can curate your message to them in a way that they're going to hear it so that they can make a purchase and you can make a sale. Let's get into it. The first personality type I'm going to talk to you about are thinkers. Thinkers are sticklers for the detail. They want to know everything right down to the penny. They want to know the specific policy language. They are not really all that focused on relationships. They are focused on facts and they want to move slowly and at their own pace. And the only way to make them happy when you're selling to them is to give them the level of detail that they are asking for and move at the pace that they want to operate. If you do not answer their questions at the level of detail that they want, they're going to think that you're not a serious person. So in my life, one of my customers is an attorney. And at first, when she would ask me coverage questions, I would say, well, it should work like this. And this is how most policies are written. And she would keep drilling down and drilling down and drilling down. And what I realized I needed to do over time was I needed to go to the policy form and highlight the exact language that she needed to see in order to answer her question. And if it wasn't clear, I needed to go to an underwriter and have them detail what the answer to the question was. Or her mind was just not going to relent. And the thing is, you can't tell these people to relax. That's going to undercut their feelings in the situation. You need to address their concerns in order for them to feel comfortable buying for you. So that's the action plan with a thinker. If you see a very clean desk and they're very detail focused, you need to move slowly, move at their pace, make sure that they are getting all the information that they need in order to properly evaluate the situation. The second personality type are facilitators. Facilitators are very relationship oriented, less so on the fact side. They're not huge on telling people what to do. They're more so wanting to make sure that everyone's getting along in the situation. And they hate conflict and they hate change. If you push them too hard, here's what'll happen. You will push them hard to make a decision and then they'll say yeah because they don't want to hurt your feelings. But then when you follow up to ask for the next steps or for something else to happen, they'll ghost you because once again, they don't like conflict. They don't want to hurt your feelings. They just kind of want the problem to go away. And so what you need to do as a salesperson, if you can tell that they're a facilitator, if you can tell that they are wanting to make sure everyone around them is comfortable and they're focused on relationships and feelings in the situation, is once again, you need to go slow. You need to make sure that you understand their criteria and ask them, is there anything that needs to be considered as part of this situation in order for you to feel comfortable making a decision? You need to make sure that you understand their feelings in a situation, or they're going to come back and bite you. So, the situation I think of is a nonprofit that I quoted 3 times. And this is before I knew about broker record letters. But I kept going back and going back and going back. And every time I would present something that was a business case, it would be 10, 15% less with better coverage. And they just wouldn't change. Yeah, because they were comfortable and they didn't really want to fire the other broker. They hadn't really done anything wrong and they liked him. On 1 year, I got the package, and then they left the workers' comp alone just so they would have something. And I only got the workers' comp when it accidentally canceled for non-pay, and they said, "Well, we might as well make the switch now. The change has been made." For people like that, you just got to go slow. And you got to make sure that they are emotionally on board and that they're comfortable with the change and move at their pace. Otherwise, they're going to shut you down. The third personality type you need to understand are persuaders. Persuaders are loud, they're outgoing, They fill a room. They like to tell other people what to do. They like to tell other people about themselves. And they tend to be more relationship driven versus fact focused. So we all know people like this. When we're at a party and they walk in the room, it's like the volume goes up. It's like the lights got brighter. And when they leave, it's like the whole room got a little bit emptier. And when you're selling to these kinds of people, the sales meeting seems like it's three quarters them talking about themselves. And then they get to the end and say, okay, hey, what do you need in order to do this? So for me, the customer that comes to mind ran a recovery program and he wanted me to look at his home insurance. So he had me over to his home and he walked me around the backyard and he showed me the basketball court that he built. And he took me in the basement. And he showed me his guitar collection, which was crazy. It had like 30 guitars and a lot of them were collectible. And he didn't insure them properly, but that's a totally different story. And then got to the very end and then we got into some details. And he was fun. He was interesting, a little bit messy and a little bit short on the details. And that's what working with a persuader is like. So you need to make them excited. You need to make them feel like you're very interested in them and let them tell their stories and be engaged with that and help them feel like there's a relationship there. And then when they're ready to go, you pull the trigger and you do your thing. That's how it goes. So the cadence of the meeting is going to be slow, 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 fast. When they're ready to go, you got to go and you got to go fast. And you may not have all the information, but you just got to be ready to do it. They're a little bit like a Tasmanian devil in that sense. But that's how you cater the speed and the process to them. Because if you don't let them get their version of relationship building out on the front end, they're not going to feel like they emotionally attached to you. The fourth personality type are pragmatics. I'm a pragmatic. So let me tell you how I mentally process information. I am not super keen on relationships, although I understand they're important. So in my mind, there's constantly this clock going where I say, okay, I need to invest at least 7 minutes in this conversation to relationship building so this person will like me. And then after that, it's time to get down to business. And we're going to talk for 22 minutes about this topic. And then I need to be done in 29 minutes because I have a meeting at the 30th minute. I am all about speed. I'm all about efficiency. And if people want to go along with that, that's great. If they don't, okay. And that is how a pragmatic works. So, with a pragmatic, you're going to have short meetings. They are going to be fact based, they are going to be to the point. You need to give them the information that they want and they crave directly to the point so that they can make a decision and then move on. It's not that they don't like you. It's not that they don't like relationship building. It's just that, hey, we got stuff to do and you're on the checklist, but let's get it done so we can move on to the next thing. That's a pragmatic, and that's how you manage them. When you understand the personality type of the person that you're dealing with, you can change up your messaging and the cadence of your meeting so that you're delivering what they want when they want it. Because that is the key to sales is getting people what they want when they want it so that they feel empowered to make a decision. So if you treat a pragmatic who needs some information but not all the details and you treat them like a thinker who needs all the details in advance so that they can process it, you would drive the pragmatic crazy. You'd say, you're taking way too long. I don't need all that information. Just hit the high point so I can move on. Whereas if you try to treat a thinker like a pragmatic, they're going to say, what? Are you stupid? I need all this information in order to properly evaluate the situation. You need to get back to me when you're serious. So you have to walk in and identify the flavor of the person that you are dealing with, and then gauge how much information they're going to need, gauge how relationally focused they're going to be so that you can deliver what they need when they need it in order to feel comfortable with managing the change and feel comfortable with the idea that they are making the correct investment in you. Because keep in mind, going back to the beginning of this video, insurance is a product with a long tail. And the longer your prospect engages with you, the more that they're going to start to understand that if they do this wrong and they pick the wrong person, there could be some terrible consequences down the road. It's just that each person has a different way of making that evaluation. And some people are going to be more focused on relationships. Some people are going to be more focused on facts. Some people are going to want to move fast and some are going to move slow. And what you need to be able to do is identify which person you're dealing with so you can either speed up or slow down, lean into relationship or lean into facts. Hey, I hope that was helpful. If you've got questions about it, drop it in the comments. I read everything, I respond to everything, and I love engaging with you guys. If it was helpful, hit like and subscribe. It really helps other people like you find the content, and it helps me build the channel. Hey, I'm being a little selfish. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Please go build something great. And my contact information is in the description if you've got more questions. See you in the next video.